This is Greg Troutline with Maritime Reporter TV, and we're very pleased to be joined today by Oliver Riemenschneider, the president of ABB Turbocharging, to discuss new emission regulations in shipping and some technical solutions that are geared to assist ship owners on the journey towards decarbonization. Oliver, to start things off, the IMO is set to discuss two very important measures this year: the Energy Efficient Design Index for existing ships, the EEXI, and the Carbon Intensity Index, the CII. Can you give a brief on the EEXI and specifically discuss why it's important for our audience?
Greg, thanks a lot for having me. EEXI is absolutely a top topic here. What we are looking at really is that we are looking at the design of the ship. So what is the fuel efficiency versus the load and the speed? And there we will have requirements along the different categories of the ships. And there we will see who will comply and who will not comply. And our judgment is that roughly 50% of the ships will be somehow not complying. And the industry is discussing now to limit the engine power. And with the limitation of the engine power, you can improve the index a lot. However, if you are operating in the box of the limitation, which is physical or electronic, you are okay. So if you have slow steaming container business, most probably you're okay. However, if you are operating like a tanker or a bulker at 50–60% of MCR, you might be exposed at the limits of this index, and then you have to look around, what can you do? So that means you have to look at new vessels, upgrade of vessels, or maybe fuel switch, which is an expensive investment, but nevertheless, maybe it's worthwhile. So what it means, it reduces the capabilities in future to speed up again. So catching up the schedule for harbor slot or for a slot in a channel, there the capabilities are limited. And there's also limitation to extend capacity, but just speeding up the fleet. So it has an impact on the balance sheet of every owner, I think.
So Oliver, thank you very much for that. Can you give us a brief on the Carbon Intensity Index?
Yeah, the CII, I mean, this is now about actual operation. So you don't look at design factors, you're looking at actual operation. So it means what is the actual fuel consumption you have, what is the mileage you do, and what is the load you have. So you can influence much more with your operation of single ships and fleet, your footprint for CO2. So that will then also trigger again the same questions. What should I do with the fleet? As the requirements are getting tougher and tougher every year until 2030. But this steepness of the slope is not defined yet, that's in discussion. But we do expect then gradually also that older tonnage, which is maybe not so carbon prone, so to say, will retire much earlier than what we thought operational is possible. So again, it will have an impact on the balance sheet of our customers.
Oliver, again, emission reduction and decarbonization is hardly a new topic, at least I hope so to our audience. But can you share with us your perspective? I like to call it the reality of the reality on the street. Specifically, how pervasive is the decarbonization discussion with your ship owners on a daily basis?
I think perception changed, reality changed as well, very much also in the last 24 months. I mean, if you look at the energy majors, they are coming with roadmaps on how they are tackling the problem. Or if you look at banks, they show how much they are exposed. There's a lot of pressure towards the whole industry. And you have seen the announcement of major container shipping companies saying, I will have the first container ship fueled by methanol in 2023 in the water. Or statements like any new equipment will be able also to be fueled with alternative fuels. So I think there's a lot of thinking going on in the boardrooms, but also in the technical departments to make that a reality, what we are shooting for. So I think it clearly changed industry. And what we see as ABB as factual is that we have much more requests with regard to upgrades. So looking at what are the possibilities to reduce the fuel, the CO2 emissions, to improve fuel efficiency. So on one side, to reduce emissions, but also to have a return on investment. So that's a lot, much hotter marketplace right now.
As I said before, the topic of emission reduction and decarbonization is pervasive through our conversations on a daily basis. But if I'm being perfectly candid, when that topic comes out, turbocharging is not the first thing that comes to my mind. Can you discuss how ABB turbocharging is a part of that discussion and a part of that solution?
Absolutely. Thanks for the question, Greg. You know, decarbonization is really a topic all over, I would say, because we also have to decarbonize electricity. So we fight now between electricity and alternative fuels. We are fighting about resources for renewable energy as well as for carbon capturing. And with all these demands now in the same time, one thing is clear, that any alternative fuel will be more expensive. And here it comes to turbocharger. You know, turbocharger efficiency goes 1-to-1 with engine efficiency. So you have high price of fuel, you need high efficiency to reduce your fuel bill. Looking at the shipping industry, I think there the fuel bill is a major part of the annual cost. So any percentage you can improve is something you can improve your competitiveness. And I think that's why we are playing in that field.
As you know, emission and decarbonization regulation is gaining steam, and it's going to do nothing but become more strict. So when we look at tomorrow, can you discuss how your company is evolving its strategy, its product line, and its services to better meet the needs of the industry as it goes on the decarbonization and the emission reduction path?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it goes along the line what I said before. First priority is to work together with the OEMs to develop combustions which are allows to really work with these alternative fuels in a very economical way. So that's a lot of technology we are pushing. I think secondly, what we do and help our owners as well is to improve the operational efficiency with upgrades. And upgrades reduces the fuel consumption and therefore also emission, and is also something for the money part. Thirdly, I think still also the improvement of the installation as such to run it more optimized and in a safe way. There we have a lot to offer, also including software, which is highlighting then maybe tweaks and improvements which can be done during the operation. And last but not least, I think very important is also that we have good service where the equipment is, because a good service is making sure that the efficiency of the equipment is kept at a high level and the operation is safe. So with these elements, our strategic elements, I think we are very well prepared to work on the future, but also taking really care of what is now on the sea and needs support from us day out and day in. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Oliver. I truly appreciate your time and your insights, and I wish you the best of luck. Have a great day.
Thanks a lot, Greg.
Thank you.